I discovered my boyfriend and best friend's 3-month affair through an accidental phone notification, and instead of falling apart, I became a strategic investigator, documenting evidence, consulting lawyers, and planning my truth-revealing moment at my boyfriend's surprise birthday party. What followed was a year-long journey where public exposure transformed into private healing, where rage evolved into radical self-reinvention, and where betrayal became the catalyst for my empowered independence. I wrote about my experience for a book on manipulation tactics, founded a support group, launched my own consulting firm, and learned that the most powerful revenge isn't in humiliating your betrayers, but in completely outgrowing the need for their validation while building an unshakable trust in your own intuition. I, 26F, opened my boyfriend's phone to check the weather while he was sleeping after a night out, and there it was, a notification from my best friend Elena, 27F, with "Can't wait to feel you inside me tonight." The air left my lungs. My best friend since freshman year of college? My boyfriend Marcus, 29M, whom I'd been planning to surprise with a romantic weekend getaway. 3 years of friendship and 2 years of relationship, all shattered by one text message that wasn't even meant for me to see. I went to his phone because my battery was dead at 2 a.m. and we'd been out celebrating my promotion to senior project manager at my firm. I just wanted to check if Rain was coming tomorrow for our planned brunch. Instead, I found this. My first reaction wasn't to wake him or throw the phone at the wall. Something ice cold and calculating took over. Maybe it was the shock, maybe it was that tiny voice in the back of my mind that had been noticing small things lately. Elena always texting during our date nights, Marcus being too tired for intimacy more often, Elena knowing details about Marcus that even I didn't know, the way they developed inside jokes I wasn't part of. I needed evidence. I needed a plan. I needed to not fall apart right there on his Egyptian cotton sheets in his overpriced downtown loft. So I took screenshots. I checked their message history. 3 months. 3 months of "I miss you. When can we meet again?" She's getting suspicious. I told her I was at the gym but came to yours. Your friend is so naive it's almost pathetic. My stomach turned. My best friend had written that. About me. I put the phone back exactly where it was, the weather app still open, and slipped out to his balcony. The city lights blurred through my tears as I started planning. I wasn't going to be the girl who falls apart. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of knowing I discovered their perfect little secret. Not yet. I spent the rest of that night sitting on that balcony, watching the sunrise paint the city gold while my heart was painted black with betrayal. By 7 a.m., I had a strategy. I would give myself 2 weeks to gather evidence, plan my exit, and most importantly, document everything in case I needed it later. I wasn't just losing a boyfriend and a best friend, I was losing the entire social structure I'd built around them. When Marcus woke up at 10 a.m., I was already dressed, applying concealer to hide my puffy eyes, and practicing my smile in the mirror. "Morning, sleepyhead. Want coffee?" I acted normal. Played nice. Even kissed him goodbye when he left for his Sunday basketball game with the guys, a game I now suspected might not exist. That afternoon, Elena texted our group chat with Sarah, 28F, and Zoe, 25F, "Girls' night at my place tonight? Need to catch up with my favorite ladies." Reading it made me physically ill. How many nights had we spent at her apartment, sharing our deepest secrets, while she was secretly fucking my boyfriend? How many times had I sought her advice about our relationship, only for her to use that information against me? I declined, claiming I needed to work on a new project. "Workaholic as always," she responded. "You better not let Marcus catch you working on the weekend again. A man needs attention." The audacity. The sheer fucking audacity. Over the next 2 weeks, I became a detective. I created a fake Instagram account to monitor their activities. I noticed patterns. Marcus's late work dinners coincided with Elena's Instagram stories from restaurants across town. I memorized their schedules. I kept screenshots organized by date in a secure folder. I confided in exactly one person, my law school roommate Rachel, 30F, who now worked as a paralegal. She helped me understand my legal protections regarding our shared lease and joint bank account. We met at a coffee shop 50 miles away from our usual spots to avoid any chance encounters. "Sweetie, you need to think about your exit strategy," Rachel said, stirring her latte. "Joint lease ends when?" 3 months from now, I replied. "And the wedding deposits?" Her eyes widened. "Wedding deposits?" Marcus and I had talked about getting engaged next year. I stupidly started looking at venues. Put down a refundable $5,000 deposit at Willowbrook Gardens. Rachel wrote notes on her phone. "Get that money back first. Quietly. And start documenting everything. Times, dates, screenshots, witness accounts. I already have 3 months of text between them." "Good. But if you're going to expose them publicly, you need to be strategic. Think about your career, your reputation. This could blow up in ways you can't predict." Day 13, the cracks in their perfect deception started showing. Marcus seemed jumpier, constantly checking his phone, even taking calls in the other room. Elena invited me for lunch and spent the entire time probing about our relationship status. "You and Marcus seem so perfect together," she said, picking at her salad. "Have you guys talked about the future lately?" I smiled sweetly. "Oh, you know Marcus. He's not big on planning ahead." She laughed a little too loudly. "Men, right? They need us to guide them sometimes." The way she said us made my skin crawl. There was no us anymore. There was her, him, and me, the fool caught in their web. That night, I tested Marcus. "I ran into Elena's neighbor today. She mentioned seeing you at Elena's building last Tuesday around lunch?" He barely flinched. "Oh yeah, I dropped off that book she wanted to borrow. The one about meditation you recommended?" I'd never recommended any meditation books. But I nodded. "Right. I forgot." Day 14, I got a text from Marcus's brother Jake, 32M. "Hey, saw you looking at engagement rings on Marcus's browser history. Eyes emoji. Should I be expecting some news soon?" This caught me off guard. Marcus had been looking at rings? But why, if he was cheating? Unless he was planning to have his cake and eat it too. Maybe he thought he could propose to secure me while keeping Elena as his side piece. Or maybe Jake was lying, trying to gauge my reaction. I responded casually, "Haha, just window shopping." Not there yet. That evening was our game night with the friend group, Marcus, Elena, Sarah, Zoe, and 2 other couples. I'd planned to skip it, but Rachel convinced me to go. Observe them together in a group setting. You might learn something. The dynamics were sickening to watch with my new awareness. Elena and Marcus avoided direct eye contact but had a whole language of subtle touches and shared smiles. When Elena spilled wine on herself, Marcus immediately offered his jacket. When I mentioned being cold, he barely looked up from his phone. You've been so quiet tonight, Zoe observed, refilling my glass. Just tired, I said. Work's been crazy. She's always tired, Elena interjected. I keep telling her she needs better work-life balance. Says the woman who texts me at 2 a.m. about work drama, I countered sweetly. Elena's face flickered with something, fear? Oh, that's different. I can't sleep when something's bothering me. Keeping secrets is exhausting, I agreed, making direct eye contact. She held my gaze for exactly 2 seconds before looking away. That night, Marcus didn't come home. He texted at 11 p.m., staying at Jake's. Had too much to drink. Don't wait up. I checked Jake's Instagram stories. He was at a sports bar 40 miles away with some college friends. No Marcus in sight. I took a sick day the next day, one of the 4 I'd been saving, and went to Elena's building with coffee and bagels. Surprise visit. I announced when she opened the door, looking flustered in Marcus's Northwestern sweatshirt. Oh my god, you scared me. She clutched her chest dramatically. I pushed past her. Come on, I brought breakfast. We never hang out during weekdays anymore. Her apartment smelled like Marcus's cologne. There were 2 coffee mugs by the sink. A pair of men's running shoes by the door that she quickly tried to kick under the couch. Someone's here, I said innocently. Just bought those for my cousin's birthday, she lied smoothly. We sat on her couch, and I watched her squirm as I asked about her dating life. Anyone special these days? Actually. She hesitated, then launched into an elaborate story about a man named Dave she'd met on Bumble. He's in finance, super sweet, but I'm taking it slow. Smart, I nodded. Does Dave know about Marcus? She choked on her coffee. What? Why would Dave need to know about Marcus? I shrugged. Just wondering. Since you two are so close, you text all the time. Dave might get jealous. Oh, that's just friend stuff. You know how it is. Do I? Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. She grabbed it quickly, but I caught a glimpse. Coast clear? I'm in the parking garage. Neighbor emergency, she said, typing rapidly. Water leak. You should probably go. I need to deal with this. Of course, I smiled, standing up. As I walked to the door, I stopped. Oh, Lena? That Northwestern sweatshirt looks great on you. Marcus has the same one, right? She paled. Probably. They sell them everywhere. Right. Size M, with a tiny bleach stain on the left sleeve. Very common. I left her apartment and sat in my car, watching the parking garage exit. 10 minutes later, Marcus's Tesla emerged. I had screenshots of the timestamps, the building security cameras would have more. Evidence was mounting like a snowdrift, and I was ready for the avalanche. That weekend was Marcus's mom's birthday dinner. Elena showed up as Marcus's friend since we'd all known each other for years. She brought an expensive bottle of wine and was overly affectionate with everyone, except Marcus. They'd perfected the art of casual distance. During dinner, Marcus's phone kept buzzing. Finally, he excused himself. Work emergency. Sorry, everyone. 5 minutes later, Elena's phone rang. Girls' night crisis, she announced, looking concerned. Sarah's having a breakdown. I should probably take this. I watched them both leave the private dining room. Bathroom was down the hall to the left. They both went right, toward the exit. I'll check on them, I told the group, grabbing my purse. I found them by Marcus's car, locked in an embrace that left no doubt about their relationship. They didn't see me. I took photos from behind a column, my hands surprisingly steady. When I returned to dinner, I announced I wasn't feeling well and called an Uber. Marcus returned alone, claiming Elena had to leave to comfort Sarah. His mom cooed about what a good friend Elena was. If only she knew. I spent Sunday organizing everything. Screenshots, photos, timelines, witness accounts I documented. Rachel reviewed it all. This is solid, she said. But what's your endgame? Do you want to humiliate them publicly or handle this privately? I want justice, I said. And I want them to face consequences. Think about the collateral damage. Your friend group, your social circles, your reputation. I thought about little else. Some revelations are necessary for healing. Rachel nodded slowly. Then let's make sure you're protected first. First update. Thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. The advice and support have been overwhelming, and many of you encouraged me to gather evidence before acting, which is exactly what I did. To answer some questions, yes, I have texts, photos, and other evidence. No, I'm not sure about confronting them yet because I'm still processing the emotional impact. Yes, I've been to therapy, started last week. And yes, there are more complications I didn't include in my original post. Here's what happened in the week after I discovered everything. I used my remaining 3 sick days to conduct what I now call Operation Clarity. First, I quietly withdrew my $5,000 venue deposit and transferred our joint savings, my contributions plus half of our shared money, to a new account at a different bank. I consulted with a lawyer about our lease, learned I could break it with 60 days' notice and forfeit 1 month's rent, which seemed worth it for my sanity. The most valuable tools were the fake Instagram account and a digital recorder I bought. I documented everything. Tuesday, Marcus told me he was at a late client dinner. I followed him to Elena's apartment complex. They left together for a restaurant. I watched them have an intimate dinner through the window, hand-holding included. Marcus picked up the check. He's never taken me to that restaurant. Thursday, Elena texted our girls' group chat asking for relationship advice about her Bumble guy Dave. She described their connection as magnetic and mentioned he was finally leaving his girlfriend for me. The irony was suffocating. Saturday, at my sister's baby shower, Elena cornered me in the bathroom. You've seemed distant lately. Everything okay with you and Marcus? I nearly laughed. Almost asked if she was speaking from experience seeing as how she was actively trying to steal my boyfriend. Instead, I said I was stressed about work. She responded with, "Don't let work consume you. Men need attention, or they look elsewhere." The recording device caught this conversation. Her voice, her words, all preserved. Sunday morning, while Marcus was at the gym, verified this time, I accessed our shared laptop and discovered he'd been deleting his text history with Elena daily. But email tells another story. In his trash folder, hotel reservations, dinner receipts, even an email from a jewelry store about custom engagement ring order status. So he is planning to propose. This makes everything more twisted. I presented all this to Rachel. She connected me with her divorce lawyer friend who handles relationship disputes. His advice: document everything, protect your assets, but consider whether exposing them is worth the energy. Revenge can be exhausting. But something in me needs this resolved publicly. Not for revenge, but for validation that I'm not crazy, that my instincts were right. The turning point came yesterday. Marcus booked a weekend getaway to Santa Barbara, telling me it was a work conference. I checked, there's no conference. Through my friend who works in hotel management, I confirmed he booked the Four Seasons for 2 people, non-smoking king bed, with spa packages. Elena hasn't mentioned any travel plans to me, but she did cancel our girls' trip that same weekend, claiming a family emergency. I've decided, I will confront them. But not privately. Too many people have been affected by their deception. Sarah and Zoe deserve to know their friend is capable of such betrayal. Marcus's family should understand why our relationship is ending. And I need witnesses to prevent them from gaslighting me later. I'm planning something for next weekend, Marcus's surprise 30th birthday party that I've been organizing for 2 months. Ironic, isn't it? I've already paid the deposits, hired the caterer, sent invitations. Everyone who matters to both of us will be there. Rachel thinks this is risky. Public humiliation has consequences, she warned. So does private betrayal, I countered. Some readers suggested getting tested for STIs. I did. Clean, thankfully. Also moved all my important documents and sentimental items to my parents' house, telling my mom I was decluttering. You asked if I've considered confronting them privately first. I have. But after 3 months of calculated lies, of them making me doubt my own perceptions, of Elena pretending to support my relationship while actively sabotaging it, I believe they forfeited the right to privacy in this matter. The hardest part isn't the betrayal itself, it's realizing how long I ignored red flags. Elena's constant questions about our lovemaking life, asking for intimate details about Marcus's performance. Marcus suddenly being interested in social justice issues after Elena took a sociology class. Elena memorizing Marcus's coffee order. Marcus using phrases Elena used frequently. All those times Elena brought up open relationships in conversation, testing my boundaries. I created a private Instagram account called @betrayal.recovery and started documenting my journey for the few trusted friends I've confided in. It's been therapeutic to write everything down, to validate my reality when I start doubting myself. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with a real estate agent to look at studio apartments. Starting fresh feels necessary. I'll update again after the party on Saturday. Whatever happens, I'm ready to face the truth and reclaim my narrative. To those who suggested forgiveness and moving on quietly, I respect that path, but it's not mine. Not yet. First, I need acknowledgement and accountability. Second update. Thank you for the overwhelming response to my first update. I'm especially grateful to those who shared their own stories of betrayal and recovery. Your warnings about potential fallout were noted, but after careful consideration, I chose to proceed with my plan. Saturday night arrived. I'd spent the morning at a salon, hair, nails, the works. If this was going to be the worst night of the year for me, at least I'd look incredible. I wore a black silk dress Marcus had once said made me look like expensive sin. How fitting. The venue was a rooftop bar downtown, beautiful city views, dim lighting, perfect for a surprise party. I texted the group different arrival times to stagger entrances, family at 7 p.m., friends at 7:30, Marcus and the guest of honor at 8:30. Elena received her invitation via text. Can you help me make sure Marcus arrives on time? I want this to be perfect. By 8 p.m., about 40 people were assembled. I'd prepared a slideshow of Marcus's life highlights, childhood photos, college memories, work achievements. Hidden among them, screenshots of his and Elena's messages, time-stamped photos from their secret dates, and email confirmations for their Santa Barbara trip. Marcus's brother Jake approached me. The party looks amazing. Marcus is going to be so surprised. He hesitated. Actually, I should warn you, he might propose tonight. My breath caught. Rachel gripped my arm. What makes you think that? I managed. He's been acting weird. Asked me about proposal ideas last week. Even mentioned something about making things right. The irony was delicious, but my stomach churned. Would he seriously propose in front of everyone, with Elena present? At 8:45, I received a text from Elena, almost there. He's so confused why we're going to this bar. When they arrived, Marcus was genuinely shocked. Elena played the perfect supporting character, clapping and cheering with everyone else. They separated upon entering, smart play. I gave a speech about surprises and revelations, watching their faces. Marcus, in honor of your 30th birthday, I want to share some special memories. I clicked the remote. The first slides were innocent. Laughter, nostalgia, warm feelings. Marcus stood beside me, arm around my waist. Elena sat at a front table, smiling widely. Then the tone shifted. Side-by-side messages appeared. Marcus to me, sorry can't make dinner tonight. Client emergency. Marcus to Elena, same timestamp, can't wait to spend the night with you. I'll bring wine. The room went silent. I felt Marcus's arm tighten, then drop completely. The slides continued. Elena to group chat, my heart goes out to anyone being cheated on. Elena to Marcus, when are you leaving her? I hate pretending to be her friend. Gasps echoed through the venue. Sarah covered her mouth. Zoe looked between Elena and Marcus in disbelief. Marcus tried to grab the remote. This is fake. Someone hacked our accounts. The hotel reservation for Santa Barbara? I asked, projecting the booking confirmation. Fake too? Elena stood up. This is a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I projected a photo of them kissing by his car. From last weekend at your mom's birthday, Marcus. Called her friend all evening. His mom gasped audibly. His sister Lisa began crying. You both played me perfectly, I continued, my voice steady. 3 months of calculated deception. Elena, you gave me relationship advice while actively trying to destroy my relationship. Marcus, you booked surprise trips while planning yours with her. The room erupted in chaos. Marcus grabbed Elena's arm. We need to talk privately. Oh, now you want privacy? I laughed. After months of very public lies? Elena's face had turned gray. I never meant to hurt you. We fell in love. You can't help who you love. You can help what you do about it, Rachel shot back. You chose deception. The party began to disperse. Some people approached to apologize for not seeing the signs. Marcus's mom pulled me aside. I'm mortified. We invited her to family events. My own son's behavior, I'm ashamed. Don't be ashamed of them. I just needed you to know the truth. Marcus and Elena left together, as expected. Zoe, who'd known Elena since high school, followed them outside. Later, she'd tell me Elena tried pinning everything on Marcus, claiming he'd manipulated her, threatened to expose private information if she didn't continue the affair. The most shocking revelation came from Marcus's colleague Lisa, not his sister, but a coworker. She pulled me aside. I need to tell you something. 3 weeks ago, Marcus brought a woman to the office party. Introduced her as his girlfriend. I'd never seen her before, didn't know about you. When I asked others, they seemed confused too. That woman, it was Elena. My knees almost buckled. He'd been that bold, that confident in his deception. The party ended around 10 p.m. I stayed behind with Rachel and a few close friends to clean up. As we packed away decorations, I found a small gift bag on the table where Elena had sat. Inside, a pregnancy test box and a card reading for after you leave her. I showed it to Rachel. Jesus, she whispered. That's either incredibly timing or she thought she might get pregnant and wanted him ready to leave me immediately. That night, I slept surprisingly well. The confrontation had been emotionally draining but ultimately cathartic. I woke to 47 notifications, support messages, questions, and surprisingly, texts from other women Marcus had apparently been dating casually before Elena. Monday morning, I arrived at work to find a flower arrangement on my desk. The card, I'm sorry you're going through this. Women supporting women. Sandra. Sandra was my boss's wife, who'd been at the party. My boss called me in that afternoon. Take the week off, paid. I can't imagine the stress you're under. Thank you, but I'd rather work, I told him. It helps to stay busy. He nodded understandingly. Just know we support you here. Oh, and Marcus Martinez? He's no longer consulting for our firm. Tuesday, Elena attempted contact. A string of texts. I need to explain everything. Marcus manipulated me too. He threatened to tell everyone about my past if I didn't play along. I was scared. You have to understand, I loved him. I still love you as a friend. Please forgive me. I replied only once. I understand completely. I understand you chose to betray me daily for 3 months. I understand you used our friendship to extract information about my relationship. I understand you called me naive and pathetic in your texts. I understand you're now alone with the man who cheated on his girlfriend with her best friend. Let's see how long that trust lasts. She stopped texting after that. Marcus tried a different approach, voicemails alternating between anger and pleading. You've ruined my life. You turned my family against me. I loved you, I still love you. Elena means nothing. It was just physical. I was going to propose. I bought the ring months ago. The ring mention made me laugh. I found the jewelry store receipts. He purchased it a week after the affair started. Was he planning to propose to keep me while continuing with Elena? Or was it a backup plan in case she pushed for commitment? I changed phone numbers on Friday. Started fresh. The surprise fallout continued. Jake admitted he'd suspected something after seeing Elena at Marcus's apartment one evening. Sarah revealed Elena had been distant lately, canceling plans and being secretive about her phone. Even Marcus's childhood friend admitted Marcus had been acting weird but couldn't pinpoint why. Most importantly, I found closure. Not in their apologies or explanations, but in my own strength to expose the truth and protect my peace. I've started therapy specifically focused on rebuilding trust, both in others and myself. The therapist validated my choice to expose them publicly. Sometimes truth needs witnesses. Gaslighting thrives in private. I returned to work full-time Monday with a clear mind and lighter heart. The Santa Barbara weekend they planned? I booked the same hotel for myself and Rachel instead. We're treating it as a healing retreat. To those who warned about fallout, you were right about some things. I did lose some mutual friends who found the public exposure excessive. But I gained clarity about who truly supports me. Marcus's sister Lisa has become a close friend, appalled by her brother's behavior. Most surprisingly, Marcus's ex from college reached out. Turns out, he cheated on her too, with one of her roommates. We formed an informal support group for women who survived Marcus. For those asking about legal action, I've saved everything, but I'm choosing to move forward rather than pursue any formal complaints. The public exposure was justice enough for me. I'll provide updates if anything significant develops, but the main drama has concluded. Now begins the quieter, more important work of healing and growing. Thank you again for the incredible support. This community has helped me feel less alone in one of the darkest periods of my life. Third update. It's been 4 months since the infamous birthday party, and honestly, life has taken turns I never could have predicted. Thank you to everyone who checked in privately. Your support meant everything during the initial shockwaves. The first month after the confrontation was its own kind of battlefield. I spent countless nights curled up on my therapist's couch, unraveling layers of self-doubt I didn't even realize existed. How did I miss the signs for so long? Became my broken record question. Dr. Hannah, my therapist, finally sat me down and said, because they needed you to miss them. That was their job, to make you question yourself. Your job now is to trust yourself again. The breakthrough came when I started keeping a trust journal. Every day, I documented moments when my intuition proved correct, even small ones. That uncomfortable feeling about the new hire who later got caught stealing? My gut reaction to avoid that parking garage that turned out to have safety issues? Slowly, I began rebuilding faith in my own perceptions. By February, I'd moved into a sleek downtown studio. The first night, unpacking boxes alone at 2 a.m., I had my first breakdown since the party. Everything hit me at once: the financial strain of solo living, the fear of starting over at 26, the realization that I'd have to navigate future relationships with this baggage. But then I found the card Zoe had hidden in my coffee maker. You chose yourself. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen. I'm so proud of you. I kept it on my fridge as a daily reminder. Work became my sanctuary. My boss, inspired by my situation, assigned me to lead our domestic violence awareness campaign. Turn your pain into purpose, she suggested. Working with survivors taught me that my story, while painful, was relatively straightforward. These women had endured years of systematic abuse and gaslighting. It put my 3-month ordeal into perspective. The campaign succeeded beyond expectations, earning recognition at the industry awards. Standing on that stage in April, accepting the trophy, I realized Marcus had done me an unexpected favor. His betrayal had catalyzed a professional breakthrough I might never have pursued otherwise. During the campaign, I connected with Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a psychologist specializing in manipulation tactics. She invited me to contribute to her upcoming book on identifying emotional manipulation. My chapter, When Your Best Friend Becomes Your Biggest Saboteur. Writing about Elena forced me to examine our friendship forensically. The red flags had been flashing like emergency lights. She once told me I was too trusting for keeping a male friend from graduate school. She criticized my appearance before Marcus picked me up for dates. She knew every insecurity I had and would accidentally bring them up in group settings. She encouraged me to share intimate details about Marcus, then use them to bond with him. The book's working title, The Friend Who Wasn't, Understanding Covert Female Manipulation. It's set to publish next year. In March, I received an unexpected visitor. Marcus's mother, Helen, showed up at my building with coffee and genuine tears. I raised him better than this, she said. I keep asking myself where I went wrong. I let her talk. She needed to process her guilt. Eventually, I found myself comforting the woman whose son had destroyed 3 months of my life. You didn't go wrong, I told her. Some people just compartmentalize better than we think. He was your son at family dinners, my boyfriend at home, and Elena's affair partner in hotel rooms. Different versions of himself for different audiences. She asked if we could stay in touch. I agreed, with boundaries. She sends monthly update emails now, mainly about Marcus's younger sister's medical school journey. It's surprisingly healing to maintain some connection to the good parts of that life while leaving the toxic elements behind. April brought an interesting twist. I received a LinkedIn message from Marcus's college ex, Katie. I saw your post about the manipulation tactics book. Mind if I ask you something? Katie had dated Marcus junior year. He cheated on her with her study group partner. She'd confronted him privately, and he'd somehow convinced her she was imagining things. When she finally broke up with him, he launched a campaign to paint her as unstable to their friend group. I spent years wondering if I was crazy, she wrote. Seeing what he did to you validated everything I doubted about myself. We met for coffee. Katie was now a therapist specializing in helping women recover from emotionally manipulative relationships. It's not a coincidence, she told me. People like Marcus seek out empathetic, giving women. We're easier to manipulate because we want to see the best in people. She asked if I'd co-facilitate a support group for women recovering from deceptive relationships. The first meeting had 12 attendees. By July, we'd expanded to 3 groups. Hearing other stories reinforced that I'd handled my situation with remarkable clarity. The Elena situation resolved itself in an unexpected way. Remember how she tried to paint Marcus as the manipulator? Well, karma came for her in June. Marcus apparently pulled the same pattern on her, started a new relationship while promising Elena exclusivity. She attempted to expose him on social media, but her credibility was shot after our party incident. The ironic justice wrote itself. The woman who helped destroy my trust had her own trust destroyed in exactly the same way. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not vindication. Just a profound sense of this is their story now, not mine. By this update, I've launched a personal blog called Reclaiming Your Narrative. It's not about revenge or exposing specific people, it's about recognizing manipulation tactics and choosing yourself without apology. The first post, When Your Intuition Whispers, Listen, went viral in survivor communities. Romantic life? I dipped my toe back in during May. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and the occasional dinner. One guy, Tom, made it to date 3 before admitting he was technically still married but separated. I laughed, thanked him for coffee, and walked away without explanation or anger. Growth tastes like boundaries. The support group taught me about attachment styles. I'm avoidant secure, Marcus is dismissive avoidant, and Elena displays anxious avoidant tendencies. Understanding these patterns helps prevent their repetition. To answer frequent DMs, yes, I still have all the evidence. No, I haven't needed to use it again. Yes, they've tried reconnecting through various channels. Marcus sent a letter to my family's address apologizing and wanting closure. I had my therapist read and destroy it. Sometimes toxic people need to live with the uncertainty they created. The most beautiful development? My relationship with my intuition. I tune into my body's responses now. That tight feeling in my chest when someone's energy feels off? I respect it. The flutter of excitement when someone's authenticity matches their words? I explore it. Last week, I started a new tradition, monthly solo adventures. This month, I took myself to a cabin in the mountains. No phones, no social media, just books and nature. I've learned that the best relationship I can build is with myself. To everyone who's been following my journey, your stories of resilience have inspired my own healing. We're a community of survivors who chose to transform pain into wisdom. That's not just recovery, that's revolution. The final chapter of this story isn't about revenge or reconciliation, it's about reclamation. Every boundary I set, every truth I speak, every time I choose myself over people-pleasing, I'm writing my own happily ever after. Next update will be my last, coming right before the 1-year anniversary of discovery. I promise to share how this journey shaped the woman I've become. Until then, trust your instincts. You know more than you think you do. Final update. 1 year. 365 days since I found that text message. I'm sitting in the exact same coffee shop where I first met Rachel to strategize my exit, and I barely recognize myself. Not in the way people mean when they've lost weight or changed their hair, but in the way you recognize sunlight after living in shadows. Anniversary days are strange, aren't they? Part of me expected to wake up drowning in memories. Instead, I woke up at 5 a.m. to run my first half marathon. The same legs that trembled on Marcus's balcony that night now carried me 13.1 miles. The irony wasn't lost on me. I've been avoiding this final update, honestly. Because endings are complicated, and trauma recovery doesn't deliver tidy conclusions. But I promised to close this chapter, so here's where I've landed. The book I contributed to released last month. Seeing my words in print, when your best friend becomes your biggest saboteur, felt like reclaiming stolen territory. The chapter opens with that crucial insight: the most dangerous manipulations come wrapped in concern. Sales have been solid, but the real gift has been the messages from readers saying, "You described what I couldn't name." My support group expanded into something remarkable. Clarity After Chaos now has 200 members across 4 cities. We meet virtually and in person, creating safe spaces for women untangling their stories from their manipulators' narratives. Some nights, facilitating these sessions feels like alchemy, turning betrayal into purpose. The justice I sought publicly transformed into something more personal. I discovered that my power didn't come from exposing them but from choosing myself without hesitation. Last month, an article featured me as one of 10 women who turned heartbreak into impact. Standing next to entrepreneurs and activists who channeled loss into creation, I finally understood my own metamorphosis. I met someone 3 months ago. Daniel manages a nonprofit focused on financial literacy for women escaping domestic violence. We met at a charity gala I helped organize. He's patient with my trust process, respects my boundaries, and has never once asked for reassurance that I'm over my past. He sees my strength, not my scars. Our relationship moves at a speed that feels sustainable, not desperate. We discuss red flags openly, his from his past, mine from Marcus and Elena. Transparency feels radical after such calculated deception. The funniest development? I became friends with Marcus's sister Lisa. She's nothing like her brother, brilliant, authentic, and hilariously self-aware. She jokes that she should write How to Apologize for Your Shitty Brother, a family guide. Elena attempted one more reconciliation through our mutual friend Zoe 6 months ago. She found therapy, was doing the work, wanted to make amends. Zoe, bless her, handled it perfectly. She's not seeking your input. She's seeking absolution. Some debts can't be paid. Marcus. I heard he moved to San Francisco. His mother occasionally mentions him in her updates, still charming, still chaotic. Some patterns resist change. I'm launching my own consulting firm next month focused on organizational culture and authentic leadership. The tagline, "Building trust isn't a strategy. It's a foundation." My first major client? The law firm where my ex-roommate Rachel works. Full circle feels like poetry. The day I found those texts broke something fundamental in me. This year rebuilt something stronger, discernment. I learned to differentiate between necessary openness and naive exposure. Between forgiveness that heals and forgiveness that enables. I still keep that journal, noting when my intuition proves correct. Last week's entry, declined the consulting gig that felt too good to be true. Client was hiding financial issues. My gut earned its own platinum card. The most profound shift happened internally. I stopped asking why me? And started asking what now? That simple reframe changed everything. Instead of wondering why 2 people I trusted could betray me, I focus on how to trust myself completely. To everyone who's followed this journey, your solidarity carried me through the darkest parts. The DMs sharing similar stories, the words of encouragement, even the tough love when I wavered. You created a digital safety net when I was free falling. For those starting their own recovery journeys, there's no expiration date on your pain, but there's also no limit on your growth. You're not crazy for trusting before. You're wise for choosing differently now. Last night, I dreamed about that balcony again. But this time, I wasn't crying. I was planning. I woke up realizing that even in sleep, my subconscious knows, I saved myself. As I close this chapter, I want to share something Dr. Hannah, my therapist, told me yesterday. The opposite of betrayal isn't trust. It's integrity. Your own integrity became your North Star when everyone else's proved false. So here's my final truth: I don't have to forget what happened to move forward. I get to carry my wisdom without carrying their weight. The woman who found Marcus's phone that night was searching for a weather forecast. The woman writing this now? She knows the forecast wasn't the real storm, and she's weathered worse with a smile on her face. Thank you for witnessing my story. May you all find your way from storms to sunlight. This is the last update. The next chapters? I write them for myself now. To brighter days and clearer boundaries, the woman who chose herself. P.S. If you ever find yourself reading texts that weren't meant for you at 2 a.m., know this: sometimes the universe hits send at exactly the right time. Trust the journey. I almost texted him yesterday. Not to rekindle anything, but because I caught myself wanting to tell someone that I got promoted. Old habits die hard. Who knew a single Instagram notification could still make my stomach flip? But then I remembered, I'm not seeking validation from the people who devalued me anymore. Last weekend marked exactly 6 months since that rooftop revelation. My therapist suggested I do something special to honor my journey. So I booked the same hotel Marcus had reserved for Elena, the Four Seasons Santa Barbara. Walked into that lobby like I owned it, which honestly, with what I'd been through, felt deserved. The weekend wasn't about revenge tourism. It was reclaiming space they tried to make tainted. Each morning, I ordered room service, eggs Benedict, like Marcus always got, and ate them alone on the balcony, actually enjoying the silence they'd made me fear. What struck me most? The relief of not having to perform anymore. No checking if my phone was face down. No wondering if my work trips were actually cover stories. No exhausting mental gymnastics trying to make sense of Elena's contradictions or Marcus's suddenly distant behavior. Reality check: healing isn't Instagram worthy. Some days I still wake up angry. Other days, I catch myself missing the person I thought Marcus was, not who he actually revealed himself to be. But here's what changed: I don't mistake those pangs of nostalgia for actual loss anymore. I've started seeing someone casually, nothing serious, just coffee dates and actual transparency about boundaries. His name's David, and he's refreshingly normal. When he says he's at work, he sends pictures from his actual office, not hotel bars. Simple concept, revolutionary impact. The support group continues evolving. Last week, a woman shared how she caught her husband planning a surprise party for his mistress. The room went silent, then erupted in the kind of laughter only survivors understand. We've built this weird sorority of people who can laugh at the absurdity while honoring the pain. My mom asked if I'd forgive Elena if she apologized properly. Would I? Maybe. But forgiveness doesn't require friendship. Understanding doesn't mandate reconciliation. Some people exit your story for a reason, let them stay exited. The most surprising development? I'm grateful. Not for the betrayal itself, but for discovering my own resilience. For learning I could architect my own recovery instead of waiting for apologies that would never come. For realizing that sometimes the biggest gift people give you is showing exactly who they are. To anyone reading this who's currently in their own storm, you're stronger than you know. And that strength? It's not about revenge or even forgiveness. It's about choosing yourself, strategically and unapologetically, day after day. Sometimes the best closure is living well, not to prove anything to them, but to prove everything to yourself.